What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream today. We'll be looking at the latest news surrounding Arsenal being linked with players already, even though the transfer window has only just closed. And also, Thomas Tuchel has been sacked, people. What's going on with this microphone? Is it a bit loud? Apologies, people's audio's mad. Okay, let me sort this out. One sec. Right, let me know if that's better, people. Let me know if that's better. Apologies if I've just blown your eardrums. Let me know in the comments. I think it was using the computer microphone. Let me know if that's any better, people. Don't want to mash anyone's. Is that better? Is that better, people? Luke says way better. We better? All right, apologies, people. I'll mash up your eardrums with the start, people. So apologies for that one. I don't know why it did that. I think I had echo cancellation on. Right, let's go. What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV. We're back now. We're back. And lots going off today. Chelsea have lost their manager. Tapping Tommy has disappeared. Thomas the Tank Engine settings. He's gone. And, yeah, he's on his way out, people. He's on his way out. I think, was it? Yeah, somebody was saying that he would be sacked before Arteta. Was it you, Oliver, right? Let me go into Edu mode, people. Edu mode, as we call it now. Not even Granit Xhaka mode. Granit Xhaka tackles himself at the side of the pitch. We're just going into slow mode today, people. Yeah, Oliver, he called it. Tuchel will be gone before Arteta, he said, which is crazy. Thomas the Tank Engine on his way out, ammo. And, yeah, it's an interesting one. I think people were a little bit surprised that he's been sacked. But we're going to talk about that as well as all the latest stuff. Arsenal kick off the Europa League campaign tomorrow as well against the mighty FC Zurich. So looking forward to that game. Poor Aubameyang, my guy, is cursed. Man said, I came back here to play for Tuchel. And the man played, what, 1 hour of the game yesterday, and the man's disappeared. James said, Curtis, we should swoop for Tuchel. Nah, Tuchel, he's going to need a break. He doesn't want to take on a project. Tactical Tommy, they says King Books. Right, cool, but surprising timing. A lot of people really surprised that he's left. I'm not particularly surprised that he's left. We'll discuss why shortly as well. Sign the kid Mudryk now. We're going to talk about him. He was superb yesterday. I was bantering him the other week. Curtis, you said Potter can get a big job last stream. We're going to talk about that. I actually think the Graham Potter, they're in talks now. He's travelling to Chelsea now. I think him getting the Arsenal job, the Chelsea job, is a victory for English football. We'll discuss why anyway, people. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. We will be doing a watch along tomorrow night. 5 p.m. we'll get started for that. 5:45 kickoff. FC Zurich against Arsenal. I was going to travel to this game and do it, but you know, the flights were expensive, and I thought, you know what? Let's wait till later on in the group stage, or maybe the knockout stage when we're playing slightly better opposition. It wasn't worth it, really. So anyway, let's move on. You know what? Let's start off by talking about Thomas Tuchel. Why not? It is the headline news, and we will then come to the Arsenal news, people. So bear with me on this one. Let's start with Thomas Tuchel. Sacked by Chelsea this morning. Now, I just want to give you my opinion on it. I want to know your thoughts on it as well. In the comments, Thomas Tuchel getting sacked this morning. Omid said, as a Madrid fan, I believe Tuchel will be our manager next season. Carlo has already confirmed he's retiring. Nick said Potter will be under big pressure at Chelsea, though I'm not sure they'd give him much time as they're ruthless. Let's talk about Thomas Tuchel. A lot of people are saying that they're really surprised he's been sacked and he didn't deserve to be sacked. Now, I understand that. They're sixth in the league. He won the Champions League 2 years ago. I can understand people saying that he deserves more time, of course. But ultimately, I think you've got to look at it, people. Todd Boehly has just bought Chelsea for £2.5 billion. This ain't no little, 10p mix from the shop. £2.5 billion. And him and the manager, I mean, I've got a few notes here. According to reports, Thomas Tuchel was furious at the sacking of Peter Cech, who was sporting director during the summer. He is somebody that he got on very well with and leaned on for support. Todd Boehly got rid of him. He wanted to deal with transfers directly. Todd Boehly was apparently very unhappy that Thomas Tuchel refused the signing of Cristiano Ronaldo. Boehly saw Cristiano Ronaldo as a marquee signing that would put Chelsea onto a higher level. Thomas Tuchel denied the transfer, saying he did not suit his style of play and wasn't interested in signing him. There was clearly friction there. I think you can see the all-round body language of Thomas Tuchel in the press conferences after the games. He seems quite downbeat. He doesn't seem very happy. He's blaming players for defeats. And it was only going to go one way, in my opinion, once those things start happening. Is it frustrating for him? I think, of course it is. He will be saying, I've made a number of finals, He won the Super Cup, he won the Club World Cup, and he won the Champions League. He lost in the League and FA Cup last season. On the face of it, from a football point of view, it looks like a very poor sacking, because this is a guy that has had relatively big success since being at Chelsea. Where I think the problem is, clash of personalities. Apparently, he's quite a strict guy. And apparently when he was at PSG, he fell out with people there as well when he didn't get things his own way. Also, I think Chelsea want to build something a little bit more long-term. They have American owners now who are not going to do what Abramovich was doing, just consistently pumping money into the club. So it doesn't actually surprise me that he's been sacked, if I'm being totally honest. It may look very harsh from the outside, but from the inside, I can imagine why they would have done it. Beresford Productions, with a super chat. Tuchel? His second divorce in a year. I mean, just to give you some insight, his pay up is £13 million. So he's not going to be short of cash for the foreseeable future. That is for sure. Abramovich consistently was paying off debts at the end of each season. Chelsea are a big club now, but they're not a huge football club in terms of income. Their stadium is 40-odd thousand. Their fan base is not as worldwide and as big as the likes of Arsenal, Liverpool and Manchester United. And from what I've heard from people at Chelsea, I know a few people who've worked there, Roman Abramovich was writing off debts at the end of every season. Todd Boehly is an American owner. We know that a lot of American owners who've come to this country, they don't do what Abramovich does. The Kroenkes don't. The Glazers don't. They don't do that. They want to make money. This is a business. And they're looking at it and saying, listen, they want to bring in a long-term manager. Now, for anybody that doesn't know, Chelsea approached Brighton for permission to approach Graham Potter. Graham Potter is on his way to London now to speak to Chelsea. I think Graham Potter going to Chelsea is a victory for English football. I honestly do. I think it's a victory for English football. I've said many times, if his name was Grimaldo Potterino and he was from the streets of Sao Paulo with 50 Brazil caps, we'd all want him at our football club. Because his name's Graham Potter and he comes from Solihull in Birmingham, there's no glamour. Nobody wants him. I think he deserves this kind of opportunity. We don't know if he's ready for this kind of opportunity until he goes there. He may be a guy that is only good at a team like Brighton. He could go to Chelsea and be an absolute boss over there. But the football he plays and the way he's developed that team, despite selling Cucurella, Basuma, Mopé, most of his best players, signs these players you've hardly ever heard of, I think he absolutely deserves the opportunity to go and get that Chelsea job. And listen, I think I've said many times, England is very unique in that England is one of the only major countries where the top division is not ran by the Football Association in that country. The Premier League is separate to the FA. In most countries, that doesn't happen. And I don't think they do a lot in this country to help the English national team get better. They just want to create the best product, the Premier League, the most exciting. And, and they do that, and they've got the most money. So, listen, Graham Potter to Chelsea is interesting. I think he deserves an opportunity. And but it'll be interesting because apparently they're interested in Poch and also Zinedine Zidane, although Zidane has said before he didn't want to manage in England. So, going to be interesting there, people. Potter, LOL, Chelsea is going downhill fast. I think there was always going to be a change of direction. The owner, people think because he spent 250 million, he's not going to keep doing that. He's an American owner. They're not known for doing that in English football. Big C, you've always been a fan of Potter. I have. I think he plays... Not many teams play better football than them, considering the players that he's working with. Danny Welbeck up front. A lot of unknown players that they've paid peanuts for. So I think he deserves the chance. Jimmy, thank you for the super chat. Better to sack him now rather than waiting for Christmas when they are lower in the league. I also think one thing that goes against Thomas Tuchel is I don't think he plays great football. I honestly don't. I've watched Chelsea many times. I think they're very rigid. They're very defensive. And, I think they accept that when you're top of the league, when you're winning trophies, when you're not. And it looks as if Chelsea are going to have a little bit of a struggle this year in terms of, they're not guaranteed top four despite their spending. Then I get why they've got rid of him. But it is a little bit harsh at the same time. Amsterdam, Thailand, big club mentality. Listen, this is the way the modern game is going now. Managers get sacked. It's a lot more similar to what they do in other countries. So, we've seen it in Italy. A lot of managers. Liverpool and Man City are very lucky. They have the elite managers. I think you've also got to question yourself. Whatever manager is at your football club, you've got to say to yourself, will this manager ever overtake Pep Guardiola while he's at Manchester City? I think Chelsea's aim is to be champions of England. I don't think Thomas Tuchel will ever finish above Pep Guardiola in this country. So ultimately, they've moved him on. That's a question you could ask with Mikel Arteta. I don't think he will ever finish ahead of Pep Guardiola and probably Jurgen Klopp as well. So it does put things into perspective a little bit. We're very different clubs. We do things very different. But like Ace saying, how long does Arteta get? Listen, we're top of the league at the moment, so I'm not calling for him to be sacked. I'm just saying it's very interesting the way that clubs do their business. So anyway, we move on. 1,000 of you in the chat, people, already. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. Tune in for the watch along tomorrow, 5 p.m. Zurich against Arsenal. Europa League campaign begins. And there's your Thomas Tuchel little bit at the start. And apologies for anybody at the start who tuned in. I was on the wrong microphone and nearly blew out your ears, people. So my apologies. Eros, Big C, Arteta or Potter. At the moment, you got to say Mikel Arteta. He's won the FA Cup and he is top of the league at the moment. Only time will tell with Graham Potter. But he's definitely... I don't think Arteta could have done what Potter's done at Brighton, but time will tell with Mikel. Anyway, let's move on, people. Let's talk transfers. Am I going to have to do a public apology on the channel? Because, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, I was bantering this kid. Mikhailo Mudryk. I was bantering him. I said it was, Luka Modric off Wish. I can't even say his name. I don't know if he's any good. I've never heard of him. I've never even packed him on FIFA. Well, last night he was absolutely balling in the Champions League, people, for Shakhtar Donetsk. The no-look penalties in the car park weren't impressing me. But last night against RB Leipzig, away from home, he was putting in work, people. 2 assists, 1 goal, man of the match. People are now talking about him all over the place. Did we actually make a mistake? Have I actually got it wrong? Should we have gone and signed him in the summer transfer window? Because if he continues having a Champions League campaign like this, you're certainly not going to get him for those prices when it comes to January and the summer. For anybody that watched the game last night, I only watched the extended highlights, didn't watch the game live, but he got 2 assists, scored a goal with his left foot. He was given man of the match. He looked quick. He had step overs. Maybe he's not just a YouTube baller, people. So, listen, my apologies. My apologies. I called him a car park winger, but he was certainly balling yesterday, that is for sure. Now, Fabrizio Romano has tweeted about him today. He's put a video out talking about Arsenal's interest and discussing really whether we will go back in for him in January. He's only 21 years of age, Ukrainian international. It's believed there was a 30 million euro offer from Brentford for him late in the window. But apparently they wanted 50 million euros, which is around 42 million pounds. Now, as I'm saying, and as somebody just said there, Anthony Bryan, it is one game, I'm sure you could pull up a game where Adama Traore looks like one of the best wingers in the world, but unfortunately he doesn't play like that every week. So I'm not saying because he played great last night, go and get him, go and spend 50 million euros on him. What I will say is he's certainly one that I think we need to keep an eye on. Maybe I was a little bit hasty when I was talking about him a week or so ago. So definitely keep an eye on him. Champions League is the biggest platform in club football. If he continues to play like that, a lot of other clubs will be looking at him. What do you think about it, people? Let me know. King's Football Show, Big C watched your video and said, let me prove him wrong. Yeah, listen, that was the start of it, man. Ruben said, baby oil Adama. We know about him, unplayable at times. Pepe looked like Messi. It's a good point. And look at the numbers that he put up in the French league. Came over here, didn't produce. So you have to be careful with these YouTube highlights. Arsenal won't spend that money on the guy. I don't think so, personally. Even if he has a good campaign, I don't see Arsenal dropping 50 million euros on a player from Shakhtar Donetsk who's pretty much relatively unproven and unknown, even if he has a good Champions League campaign. Amsterdam, Thailand, nobody gets everything right. Curtis, let's be honest, 99% of people never watched him play until yesterday. Now it's probably 98%. Yeah, listen. We do the same thing. We're all football fans. We all naturally do the same thing. When your club is linked to a player who you've never heard of, what do? You go on YouTube, you type his name in. Somebody will have been super busy, photoshopped a picture of him in the kit of your club, and there'll be a 5-minute video of him nutmegging people, doing step-overs, and putting the ball in the top corner, and you go, oh my God, he looks unbelievable, let's go and sign him. I remember when we signed Pepe, and I had seen Pepe play a few times. I watched his YouTube clip. I said, this guy's going to be unbelievable, even though I felt we should have signed Zaha. So you have to be careful. You have to be careful. It's one game, but certainly did himself no harm last night with that performance. David Smith said he was man of the match against both Scotland and Wales in June. Zozo said Pepe was never 75 million, 100%. We got absolutely bumped. It's one of them. And I said this before. If you go into a shop and you want to buy a car, you can buy probably the new Vauxhall and it might cost you 40 grand out of the showroom because it's brand new, because they're going to charge you finance, there's going to be loads of stuff on top of it, but they're going to make that car nice and affordable for you, but there's a car that, if you wanted to buy a second-hand Lamborghini, you can buy second-hand Lamborghinis nowadays for 40 grand, 35 grand if you go online. But the difference is you got to put that 40 grand down straight away. You get a player on finance. And that's what we did with Nicolas Pepe. Pepe was a 40 million pound winger, really. But we paid 70 because of the structure of it. With all the fees on top of it, we ended up paying 70 odd million. Pepe, the interesting thing is, if Pepe doesn't rip up the French league this year, what happens next season? He comes back to Arsenal with a year left on his contract. The club who've loaned him don't want to sign him. All of a sudden, you can't get him off your hands. You're going to have to loan him. Nicolas Pepe, it wouldn't surprise me if Nicolas Pepe leaves Arsenal for nothing. It wouldn't surprise me if he leaves Arsenal for absolutely nothing. It could be another Bellerin, Aubameyang, whatever, where we end up just saying leave for free. And we have to learn from this moving forward. One thing I do think we have done better with the players that we're signing now is we're signing players where you say, okay, if you ever got into a position where you wanted to sell Odegaard or you wanted to sell Saka or Smith-Rowe or Martinelli or Gabriel, whoever, you're going to get more than what you paid for them. There is some value to them now. And these guys would get you some money back, but it just shows how bad our structure was previously and how bad we managed things. It was absolutely horrendous. Unfortunately, there's no press conference reaction today because For Europa League, they tend to do the press conferences in the evening, so we'll probably react to it tomorrow. We maybe do an earlier show tomorrow before the game tomorrow night. So no waffle for you today, people. Nathan said I'd take Tuchel in a heartbeat. I wouldn't take him right now because I just think the circumstances of him leaving Chelsea now, 13 million, I'm sure he's physically and mentally drained from that as well. And listen, no matter what anybody thinks, I always say the same thing, Nathan, right? And I say it all the time. People ask me this question, probably more than anything. What do you think about Arteta now? I said, you know what? I'm still not fully convinced by Mikel Arteta. I'm genuinely not. But he's top of the league, so I can't say anything overly critical of the guy. Let's see how it plays out. If he gets us in the Champions League, fair play to him. If he doesn't, then the club have to act, in my opinion, at the end of the season. So we are where we are, people. Tuchel should join Leicester. Yeah, listen, it'd be a good appointment if you got rid of Brendan. Let's move on with a bit more transfer news, people. I spoke about this in yesterday's video. Big up to everyone who watched that video, pre-recorded video, regarding Danilo, the defensive midfielder that we were linked with in the summer. Summer has finished now. A lot of rain in the UK at the moment. But Danilo, his side Palmeiras were beaten last night in the Copa Libertadores, which is a big competition in South America. One of the biggest competitions, in fact. And he is now out of that competition with Palmeiras. A lot of the reports were stating that Palmeiras didn't want to sell him because they obviously wanted to win this competition. And now they're out of it, which has led to reports that he could be available for transfer in January, and has led to more rumours of him joining Arsenal. Football insider Dean Jones believes Arsenal will be able to sign Brazilian midfielder Danilo next year. I think we can expect Arsenal to maintain their interest in Danilo, who they had set as a top-tier target heading into the summer. Now, it's believed he could cost around £30 million, and it's believed Arsenal would target him ahead of Douglas Luiz, even though Douglas Luiz would have only 6 months left. It looks as if he wants to see out the season at Aston Villa and go on a free transfer, so he gets a big boy signing on fee. So it seems as if Danilo is a player that we could go back in for in January. As I said, his club are now out of the Copa Libertadores, and it looks as if he may be available at the right price in January. So we'll have to see on that one. Danilo, we are still linked with him. Would cost around £30 million. Young player trying to force his way into the World Cup squad. Let's see what happens with that. Now, I can see a lot of you in the comments talking about Bernd Leno. Let's talk about Bernd Leno, of course. Bernd Leno is doing an Emmy Martinez, people. You know, it's the sour X is, running his mouth, but he's not having it. And I wanted to know your thoughts on this quickly. Just briefly before we move on. South London's finest, we have to get him or Luiz. Partey needs to be made into a benchman now. He is not reliable. Gooden Greg said Barcelona will sell Bellerin for 15 million. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Tuchel can wipe his tears on the £13 million payout Jose settings. Poor Aubameyang. Yeah, he's been left hung out to dry, you know. But I'm sure he'll be fine. He's still their only striker. I'm sure he'll get first-team football. Pratim said Tuchel staying out of the Premier League would be good for us. Also, we should try getting both Danilo and Endrick from Palmeiras. Both extremely good players. Anthony said, is Leno wrong, though? He's better than our current keeper. And big up Penalty Spot, who said, wonder how Aubameyang feels now Tuchel has gone. Will be interesting to see how he goes. I'm telling you now, as a player, even at the levels I played at, when you sign for a manager and that manager has convinced you and he leaves shortly after, you are not happy because you're thinking, wow, this manager loved me. He was going to play me every week. All of a sudden, the new gaffer could come in and you're not playing. The one thing that I think Aubameyang can take some calmness from, you look at Chelsea right now, what other option have they got? They don't have another striker unless you're going to play Havertz false nine, which I don't think he is better as a striker than Aubameyang, no doubt about that. I still think he'll get picked, even if Potter or Poch gets the job. Let's talk about Bernd Leno. Bernd Leno is, man's come out with a 50-cent window shopper, this man. He's doing an Emi Martinez. He's not happy. And I want to know your thoughts on this, people. Has he got a point? This is the conversation that I want to have. This is the discussion that I want to have with the community regarding Bernd Leno. It's funny now, isn't it, that a few players have now left Arsenal, and I don't want anybody to say, "Oh, you're creating an agenda against Mikel Arteta here." I'm not, people. But you look at the players. Mesut Ozil had a problem with him when he left. Aubameyang, Leno, Emi Martinez, some of the more experienced players I've got something to say. Now, Bernd Leno, for those listening in, Bernd Leno has said on his departure from Arsenal, he said, when I realised that it wasn't about performance or quality, I knew I had to go. In preparation, I saw that it is not about performance, but only about politics. It was clear to me I had to get out of there. Wow. I want to know your thoughts and opinions on this, people. Does Bernd Leno have a point? Is he correct? Is Bernd Leno, in your opinion, a better goalkeeper than Aaron Ramsdale? I would say at the moment, I think they're similar levels, but I just think Ramsdale suits our style of football more because, let's face it, Leno is not good with the ball at his feet. He's just not. He's terrible, in fact, with the ball at his feet. And he's not good at coming for crosses. The amount of times I've seen this guy get bullied when it came to crosses. I think he's a fantastic shot stopper, though. I really do. Let's do a poll. Let's get the first poll of the day up. Who, in your opinion, is the better goalkeeper, Leno or Ramsdale? I would say, with the way you need your modern goalkeeper to play and the way Mikel Arteta wants us to play, I do think Ramsdale is the better keeper with the way we play. But Leno's certainly a good keeper. And may have felt hard done by. He came in last season against Villa, had a stormer, and was dropped the very next week. So, who's the better keeper, Ramsdale or Leno? Poll is up. Let me know what you think, people. Martinez is a better keeper than both. Do you know what? I'm going to end that poll, and I'm going to throw in Emi Martinez into that poll, because that's interesting. We got rid of Emi Martinez for Leno. Then we've got rid of Leno for Ramsdale. So let's put all of them in. Who's the better keeper? Ramsdale, Leno, or Emi Martinez? Because I think that's quite interesting. So let's get that one up there. Let me know, people. Emi Martinez and Ramsdale. There you go. Let's extend the poll. More polls than the strip club, people. There you go. It's up now. Emi played well for 6 months. No chance. Emi hasn't actually looked that great for me versus when he's played for Villa. Doesn't look as good as when he plays for Arsenal. Maybe he looked better in a better team with a better back four in front of him. I've seen him make quite a few errors. I've got to admit, when Leno left Arsenal, I was very disappointed. Kyle said I would do on... Yo, Kyle, relax, bud. How many times have you seen Mudryk play? Like, let me know, bro. But big up for the super chat, Kyle. Ziggy said he's kind of right. Case in point, Xhaka. Granit, mate. Granit is still in the club, still playing every week. So maybe Leno's not just aiming this at Aaron Ramsdale. Maybe he's aiming it at Arsenal in general, that players are getting picked on the basis of politics rather than their ability. So big up Ziggy. Safran said Martinez is like a combine of both. Amsterdam, Thailand poll. Leno looks to have a point how Guendouzi and Pepe was treated. Yeah, and as I said, somebody just said their apologies. I've missed it, saying, why are we speaking about Emi? Lay down the law. Listen, I'm purely doing that, obviously, because these, we move one keeper on for another and another for another. Do we have the best goalkeeper now out of the three is my point. But listen, interesting discussion. And he went on to say something else as well, actually. Let me share this one for you. I think he mentioned Aubameyang. Oh, just on cue, as if they wasn't good at, and this is purely coincidence. You see me there, I was coming off the screen. In other news, water is wet, people. Check out our new European range. Fresh Freds alert. No centre midfielder, but we've got brand new training kit. I can't lie, that training kit is not bad. It's not bad, but I won't be buying it because I'm vexed at the moment, and summertime's done as well. So that is absolutely crazy. Honestly, that was purely coincidental. Arsenal drop a new training kit the day before the European campaign starts. It does look good. It does. If you'd beat Man United, I would. I like the pattern of it and everything, but nah, I ain't buying it, man. They done me with the Jamaica. I can't fall for it. Even if we beat Zurich, I'm not buying into it, people. Brand new training kit. Is this our new midfielder or a new right winger? No? Okay, we'll leave it then, people. Water is wet, people. Brand new training kit. 3 days after losing to Manchester United and 5 days after we decided to sign no one, we bring out brand new training kit that does look nice, I can't lie, but nah, wrong time and wrong place for all that. The people haven't recovered from what happened last week. So let me come off that page. We knew Arsenal would have new merch. Anytime there's a problem at Arsenal, drop some new merch to lift the mood. They'll all buy it and forget about the problems. Burnt Leno on training alone at Arsenal. He said, I was allowed to go to my teammates in the dressing room. It was different with Aubameyang, who was only allowed into the dressing room when no one was there. Man said, but mate, listen, there's people in the dressing room. Don't you dare come in here. Listen, I think we move on from it. He's had an interview with German press. He's called out the manager and the way he was treated. And he's obviously not happy, because I think if you're Leno's thinking, you backed me the year before, Martinez left, then you've binned me a year later. Man had Aubameyang in lockdown, I'm telling you. Ultra Instinct said Curtis is ordering the kit off screen as we speak. Nah, bro, you ain't going to see me in that one, I can't lie. All the hype has calmed down for me with Arsenal. I was very disappointed with what happened at the weekend. If anybody watched Talk is Cheap last night, we did a live show at 6 o'clock on AFTV. You can always watch that one back. I gave my thoughts to Laurie. He was a little bit more optimistic about the performance against Manchester United. I was quite disappointed because in my eyes, that Manchester United team was there for the taking. And if you go to United, play well, and they play okay, I think you should be leaving there with 3 points. And I was quite disappointed that we didn't win the game, that is for sure. Champions of merch, you'll never sing that. Jermaine said Leno was aiming that at Turner, who was brought in to appeal to the US. The club also picked kids where they can for marketing purposes. He's not lying. I'm just wondering who he's aiming that at. Is he aiming that at Ramsdale? Remember, his agent came out and said he thought he was better than Ramsdale. Is he aiming it at Matt Turner? Have they said, listen, we're going to bring in an American goalkeeper because we have American owners, we want to tap into that market? Or is he just aiming it at the club in general and saying, listen, there's politics at this football club with players being picked? So it's interesting, but let's not harper on about it too much. He's left. We're doing our thing. We beat them, and it is what it is. But big up Jermaine with the super chat. Big up Elliot, who said, big up Curtis, back on the grind in the office as you are. Yeah, we have to do what we got to do, people. Curtis already has the new training top. He's wearing it underneath his jumper. Nah, bro, I don't even know if that one's come out. I think it's up for pre-order at the moment. Penalty Spot said 100% agree. Curtis was men against boys. Again, we are physically weak. That is our Achilles heel. I think with Arsenal, what disappointed me so much about that Man United game, as I said, people, and sorry to harper on over it, a lot of people will say that this game's finished, let's move on from it. I think if you lose in a big game and you've played well, you should only lose that game if they've played better than you and they're better than you, right? So if we went to Man City and played really well and they beat us 3-1, I could probably get my head around that, because I would say, do you know what? Better manager, better team, better system. We are not capable of beating them unless we play better than them. If you go to Manchester United, and a lot of our fan base are saying, I thought we played really well against United. If you go to Man United and you play well and you get beat 3-1, I think that leaves more questions than answers, in my opinion. Because Man United finished, 7th, 8th last year. They've had 2 defeats this season. I know they have a lot of individual quality in their team, but I don't even think they played that well against Arsenal. They just sucker punched us when we were naive and left big gaps. Apart from that, did they have a scrambling? Was Ramsdale making save after save? You look at all 3 goals, totally avoidable defensively. And that's where, for me, I was so disappointed that we ended up leaving there with a 3-1 defeat. Alfred, thank you for the super chat, bro. Said, another way to look at it, Curtis, if you go to United and play well and still lose 3-1, how good are you really? What happens if you don't play well? Exactly. This is what I'm saying. You know, Brighton went to Man United, play well, and they beat them. You know, we went there, played well, we lost 3-1. You got to punish these teams when you play well. That's the difference between getting to the top, getting in the top 4, or finishing 5th and falling out of it. Arteta's duty-free tax said, someone said yesterday, Chelsea lost to soldiers. I mean, listen, I don't want to joke about things like that. They're at war over there in the Ukraine and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, that was probably the final straw for Chelsea, going to Europe. In fact, no, it wasn't. It wasn't Kiev, was it? It wasn't where they were at war. Was it Zagreb? Yeah. But yeah, they should have won that game. It was definitely a poor defeat. Khalid said, Big C, you're finally speaking sense. Finally, man's always speaking sense, bro. Well, I like to think so. Arteta is the problem. 4 years in, still a naive manager. For me, I'm going to say what I always say about Mikel Arteta, because a lot of people ask about Arteta, and I don't want to avoid questions. It's not one way or the other with him. It's, for me, he's 4 seasons at the club. The one bit of credit that I try and give Mikel Arteta is that I think his job role is different to the job role that Unai Emery had. I think Unai Emery's job was coach the team, get them in the Champions League. I think Mikel Arteta's job role was, you need to completely rebuild this team from the ground up. You've got to lower that age. You've got to lower the wage bill. You've got to create something different. What my issue is with Mikel Arteta, nearly 400 million spent, 4th season at the club, you haven't touched Champions League since you've been here. For me, at Arsenal Football Club, a club this size, and a club of the ambition of the fan base, what we should have, if he doesn't get Champions League football this season, in my opinion, he should be sacked. Whether that's top 4 or whether that's winning the Europa League, I think he was extremely lucky to get the job. I think he's extremely lucky to still be the manager. However, we've started the season well. Let's hope we can finish the season well, achieve something that we can all be proud of. And if he does that, then he's earned the right to continue. But he has to achieve something this season. There's no way he would have got that time and that opportunity at any of the other big 6 clubs. Even Tottenham, who I consider to be, inferior to Arsenal. They've sacked managers like Mourinho and Poch, So for me, this manager, I think Arteta is still the manager of Arsenal because he works for what these owners want. These owners want a manager that, number one, he's not going to get 15 to 20 million a season in wages, right? Which your Contes, your bigger managers will want. Number 2, he's going to work with young players and do a project. Your Contes, your Peps, your Klopps, they're not interested in project, in process. They want to win now. They want you to sign top quality players, right? An inexperienced manager's going to do that. So it kind of works for both of them. He's half the wage bill. He's took the age down of the squad. So even though he's failed at times, the club will say, you know what, Mikel? You didn't get Champions League, but you saved us 75 million in wages. So that works for us from a business point of view. Mikel Arteta was brought in because it works for the Kroenkes people. And this is a similar route that Todd Boehly wants to go down now. He wants to bring in a young manager that will work with young players, that won't demand huge amounts of money, that will be a long-term appointment, and they won't have to spend 200 million a season. So listen, I don't want everybody to think it's all doom and gloom, and I'm saying get Arteta out right now. He's in a good position at this moment in time. However, he has to finish the job this season. We can't keep talking about process, project, more time, transfer windows, youngest squad. All of that nonsense needs to stop this season. This is Arsenal Football Club. We're not Crystal Palace. We're not Southampton. This is why I said to people, let's not go to Man United, get beat 3-1 and celebrate because we put in a good performance. Acknowledge that the team, yeah, you played well, but you didn't win the game. That's not good enough. Don't pat them on the back. Tell them they've got to do better. They've got to finish the job. So that's where I'm at. I think that's fair. And we'll see what happens. Lawrence said, who do you think will have the best season this year? Kulusevski, Saka or Luis Diaz? That's a tricky one because you would expect Luis Diaz because he kind of has that left wing spot to himself now at Liverpool. So I would probably go Luis Diaz, to be honest. Saka started the season quite slow. Kulusevski now, the problem for him, last year they weren't taking him off. Now they're taking him off for Richarlison. So he may get rotated a little bit more. So I would say Luis Diaz, but hopefully Saka, you know. Aya said, to be honest, the current Arsenal need 2 or more world-class players to win anything significant. Big teams have 2 stars. We just have a bunch of Fodens. It's interesting, isn't it? Because you look at the last, I don't know, 10, 15 years. You look at any trophy that we've won, we've had a star player in the team. You know, we won FA Cups with Alexis Sanchez. Sanchez, for me, was one of the best wingers in Europe at the time. Mesut Ozil was one of the best number 10s in Europe. Santi Cazorla, one of the best deep-lying playmakers in Europe. Then we had Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, one of the best goal scorers. You look at Arsenal now, and I said this yesterday, and some people didn't agree with me. I don't believe Arsenal have a world-class player. Some people said Partey. I don't think Partey is world-class. I think the fact he doesn't play enough football stops him from being world-class. But what we need a Martinelli, we need a Saka, we need a Gabriel Jesus. We need 1 or 2 of them to go to that superstar level. Let's be honest, Robin van Persie was not a superstar when we signed him. He was a superstar by the time that we sold him. So we need, you know, Martinelli, have a great season, go to the World Cup, rip it up for Brazil. By the time you come back from the World Cup, maybe we're talking about a superstar. So that's what we need. Unfortunately, we don't look like we can attract those kind of players at the moment. Ali said, Big C, if we finish 5th and win Europa, he should still get sacked. The league is the barometer, but at the moment, I'm backing him. I think that the league is the barometer, but the fact we haven't won a European trophy for so long, getting us back into the Champions League, if we finish 5th and won the Europa League, I would say that he's earned the right to continue because it would still be such a big achievement at Arsenal. And you saw that Wenger and Emery couldn't win the Europa League. Alfred said, to be honest, 400 million spent in 4 years is not a lot of money. United and Chelsea spend that on 3 or 4 players. Arteta has to build a whole team with 400 million. I get you. I get your point. 400 million for Chelsea, Man United, they can spend that, you know, Lukaku, Grealish, Pogba. You know, there's your 300 million in 3 players. However, I think the question you've got to ask yourself is, for 400 million pounds, how much better is the current Arsenal team than the Arsenal team that the manager walked into? How much better is it? And the team that he walked into finished 5th, and the team that he's built has just finished 5th. So what I'm saying is, you can be a better Arsenal team, but the league doesn't reflect that we're a better team. And that's the most important thing that we have to do. It's all right us saying we're a better Arsenal than we were a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. That's fine. But we need to be good enough to get in the top four. We need to be good enough to win the Europa League. Mikel Arteta did great winning the FA Cup in the first year. He hasn't made another European final since he left, since he became the manager, sorry. So, yeah, for me, I think that's my biggest thing. That's my biggest thing. Yeah, 400 million is chump change to Chelsea, City's and United's. But at the same time, we should be considerably better than we were 3.5 years ago if you spent 400 million. So, time will tell. Time will tell, that is for sure. Marty said we're better and the future is brighter. Yeah, but at the same time, what about the now? The now has to happen. Now we're top of the league, so beautiful, great, no problem. We just got to make sure at the end of the season we're in a great position and the future is still bright. Omar saying, this channel is shameless. You were making fun of Mudryk, calling him a B-Tech Mudryk on deadline day. Now he's in the title. Listen, I don't even hide from it, Omar. We say it in 4K for everyone to see. I got to be honest. I'd hardly watched the guy play. I'd barely watched a video of him. I saw a guy taking penalties in a car park. I couldn't say his name properly. And, we shamed him. Now, yeah, he's getting the headline and the picture. We don't hide people. We're here. We're here all week. So, yeah, totally agree. Penalty spot with the super chat. Apologies, bro. I missed that one. Somebody just threw it in the comments. He said, my issue is with him that considering he and Edu were midfielders, that he still has faith in players like Xhaka and El Neni. No excuses, in my opinion. You make a great point. He's done a fantastic job of getting rid of deadwood. A lot of deadwood that needed to go. However, I think in a team, it only takes one or two weaknesses and they expose that in a team. You look at Manchester City now, who are the, creme de la creme. That's the level that we should be aiming for. Who is Manchester City's weakness in their team? There's no obvious weakness. They're all top quality. Stones, Laporte, who've they got? Ruben Diaz, Cancelo, Walker, Edison, Bernardo, Rodri, De Bruyne, Haaland, Foden, Grealish. There's no obvious weakness. Their worst player would still be a top player at most teams. Now, obviously, they've got unbelievable amounts of money. I mean, people saying Kyle Walker, probably been the best English right back in the last decade, if we're being honest. I'm not saying he's better than James and Trent, but for the consistency. Jack Grealish, 100 million. Edison, Brazilian international, one of the best ball-playing goalkeepers. Stones, a top-quality centre-back in terms of a ball player. These are their weaknesses. Kyle Walker, people are saying, is their weakness. Our weakness is Granit Xhaka. Far lower. Granit Xhaka probably wouldn't get on Man City's bench. Now I know Manchester City have got unlimited amounts of cash and it's all a lot different. But I think Arsenal, you've got to look at the Arsenal team and say there's no obvious weakness. They're all of a certain level. And I still think Granit Xhaka, if I was a manager and I was playing against Arsenal, I would target Granit Xhaka all day long. I would target him. I would say press him. He's not quick enough on the ball. Wind him up. He might foul you. He might give away a penalty. He might 2-foot you. If he fouls you, roll over, get around the ref, get him booked. You would absolutely 100% target Granit Xhaka if you were Liverpool manager, whoever. Rob Holding, yeah, I view him as a weakness. The only thing I'd say with Holding is he doesn't start. So it's a little bit different. But listen, we've improved and we are improving. It's just I kind of want the process to speed up now. I think Arsenal fans have been very patient. And I still think we make stupid errors in the transfer market. We all knew we needed a midfielder. We didn't get it. Why didn't we get it? We should have got it, in my opinion. Alfred said, we are a better team. The problem is the rest of the league got better. Mid-table teams got better. 400 million to replace pretty much an entire team. And I'm not Arteta in. Yeah, listen, I hear you. I hear you. You've seen it now. Crystal Palace, they'll buy players for £30 million. And we're a lot different to any other league. You wouldn't see that in the Spanish league, or you're not going to see a bottom half team spend that much money on a player. I mean, just to put it into context, Leicester are bottom of the Premier League now. Look at some of the players they've got. Maddison, they could sell Maddison for 60 million. They've just sold Fofana for 70 odd million. So it's totally different. It is, that's for sure. But long way to go. One thing that I do like about Arsenal at the moment is that I feel like we've become a better team at beating the teams below us. You know, Arsenal always had this unique ability to drop points against teams lower in the division. We even saw it last season, you know, at Everton and silly results like that where we were just dropping points. I kind of feel like now, the way we've started this season, we look like we're going to take more points off these lower teams this season and not drop as many stupid points. I still think we've got to overcome this, you know, going to Man United playing well and saying well done despite losing 3-1. I'm not really on that. You know, that's just me. Maybe I'm a little bit harsh. Some people say young team, you know, we looked a lot better. We could have won the game. For me, ultimately, football is a results-based business. You got to go to Man United, play well and take something. You have to take something out of that game, even if it's a point. Let's hope they learn moving forward. Because September, October, especially October, the fixtures are a lot more tricky. Omar said, had too many free replies, got to return the favour. Hey, big up, bro. Appreciate your support. Big up my brother Turkish in the chat. Hope you're well, bro. Make sure you go and follow him. And be looking forward to your next Big Six show. When I'm sure, you know, Matisse can have a lot to say about tapping Tommy the Tank Engine, Tuchel getting sacked. And looking like Graham Potter's going to be the new manager. So big up Turkish. And we definitely have to get a show sorted out as well, 100%. Latte, big up yourself. He said, penalty spot, totally agree. It's politics. Let me end this poll, actually, regarding the goalkeepers. Some people not happy that Emi Martinez name's in there. We only did this because Leno is doing the scorned X thing in the conversation. 51% of you say Aaron Ramsdale, 30% Emi Martinez, and 18% say Bernd Leno. So most people, listen, for me, I think Ramsdale suits what we're doing the most now. He's the modern ball-playing goalkeeper. Bernd Leno, for me, was horrendous on the ball. I thought he was a fantastic shot stopper. Every time he was on the ball, it was panic stations, and he was terrible at coming for crosses. Yeah, we'll have to see, man. Big Steve will be on the next Big Six. Can't wait. That'll be good. I hope so. Big up Turkish, man. Let the people know, man. Is Big Steve on the next show? But we'll be tuning in. I'm sure it'll be tomorrow or Friday. So looking forward to that. Anthony said, we haven't sorted our midfield since the days of Song, Cesc, Flamini, Santi. It's been years of us crying out for a DM and a deep-lying creative. That issue is always swept under the rug. Arsenal have always had a situation where we either need the ball-playing centre mid or we need the defensive midfielder. When's the last time that you've looked at Arsenal's midfield and you've said, we've got both of them? You know, we had Cesc Fabregas, one of the best ball players I've ever seen at Arsenal. We didn't have an elite DM next to him, really. You know, Song was decent at times. Then we had Santi Cazorla, who became an elite, deep-lying playmaker. We had Francis Coquelin next to him. I think when Eden Hazard made him do the backflip, that was the end of him. You know, and then we got Thomas Partey, beast. Put the great ball player next to him. They don't do it. They don't go and buy the top quality ball player. It's so frustrating. You know, like people are saying, you're probably looking Vieira and Petit, Vieira and Gilberto. The midfield's never fully finished. And midfields are so important in the Premier League at any level. You can't get away with a flimsy midfield. I think the midfield is a big part of the reason we lost to Man United on Sunday, because McTominay, a player that I don't particularly rate, he had a very good game for United. He did all the dark arts. He fouled us. He got away with it. He was a scumbag, but he had a good game. Christian Eriksen, man of the match. You know, didn't get near him. Bruno Fernandes played a part in 2 goals, didn't get near him. Ultimately, we lost the midfield battle, and the midfield battle cost us the game. The midfield didn't protect the back four. The midfield didn't create enough for the front line. And that's what cost us, you know. You go to Man United with Thomas Partey and Ruben Neves, you probably win that game. And that's the problem. Pratim said, who do we replace Xhaka and Partey with? I mean, I think Xhaka's quite easy to replace. I'm not being disrespectful. I think there are a lot of options out there that are better than him. that's for the club to do. Thomas Partey's a problem. He's 29. He's on 200 grand. He's injury prone. No one's going to buy him with those numbers. We've got to find a way to keep him fit, wrap him up in cotton wool. Big up Turkish as well. He said, tomorrow night, 10:30 p.m, Big Six. Make sure you tune in. And yeah, I'll be in the comments. Probably trolling Matisse, to be honest. Cesc and peak Flamini was the last time. Flamini reached a point, didn't he, where he was really performing. At the start, I didn't particularly rate Flamini, but he did get good towards the end. Jerry said, do people realise we last won the league in 2003? I mean, it's crazy, isn't it? Because when you win those titles, you never think like, oh, I'll have to wait 17, 18 years for the next one. But the reality of football is, people, you've got no divine right. Liverpool didn't win the Premier League until, a year or two ago? We went, 9 years without winning a trophy? So 2003, 2004, actually. But you've got no divine right. If your club stands still and relies on the history, which, every time you're on here, I've got History Channel in the background, because this is the greatness that we try and attach ourselves to. We have to create our own legends, our own history. The club have stood still. I still think for the Kroenkes, all the money they've invested over the last 2 or 3 years, I still don't think that we have an owner in charge that is trying to win the Premier League, that is trying to win the Champions League. You can cover it up by spending a lot of money. Sometimes you have to put a lot of money into your business to make money. People have seen that in business. Sometimes you have to invest in a business to make money. I think he had to put 150 million in just to give us a chance at getting in the Champions League, which creates more money, bigger sponsorships. I still don't think deep down that the Kroenkes are prepared to do what it takes for Arsenal to go and challenge Manchester City, to get in the Champions League, to go and challenge for that trophy. I think the ambition is, let's get back in the Champions League, let's get the money, let's get in the top 4, and everybody will be happy. The fans will lap up Champions League football, the Kroenkes will make a fortune, Arteta looks like a great manager, and everybody wins. And that, for me, is the biggest problem. Are Arsenal trying to win the Premier League? For all Chelsea's trigger-happy sacking manager theories and stuff that they do, and at times I think they've sacked managers and I think it's been wrong, you can't question the ambition of that football club. And it hurts me to see that, because we were head and shoulders above Chelsea 15 years ago as a football club. We're still a bigger fan base. We're still a bigger club, in my opinion. But we've fallen behind them in terms of ambition, in terms of what they're trying to win. Look at their trophy cabinet. How can Arsenal have no Champions Leagues? Chelsea have got 2. Tottenham were in a Champions League final not so long ago. Imagine if they had have beaten Liverpool. So I still don't think that we have the owners to get us to where we need to get to. I think they're only trying to get us to a certain point that benefits everyone. Baba Tunde, thank you for the super chat. He says, big up Big C. We are always 2 players short. By the time we address those 2 players, the star players are gone and we are back to square one. Listen, you make a great point. When Alexis Sanchez was there with Ozil, we kept saying, listen, Giroud's good, but he won't win us a title. We need a 20-goal striker. Guess what we did? As soon as Alexis Sanchez left, we bought Aubameyang. Why? Why did you not buy Aubameyang when we had Alexis Sanchez? We were crying out for a DM when we had Cazorla and Mesut Ozil balling in midfield. Coquelin wasn't quite good enough. Didn't buy anyone. As soon as Ozil goes, you go and get Thomas Partey. Why did you not put Thomas Partey? Imagine a midfield 3 of Thomas Partey, Santi Cazorla, and prime Mesut Ozil. With prime Alexis, prime Theo Walcott, and prime Aubameyang. That maybe wins us the title that Leicester won. But they leave a gap, Like you said, they patch up the wall. That stops the leak. Then it starts leaking somewhere else. They patch that up. By the time you've patched that up, that wall in the front room's leaking again. It's like Turkish said many times, the roundabout. We're almost there. We almost get there. But yeah, listen, we'll have to see. Anthony said, and listen, I hope I haven't put you all in a bad mood. My aim is always to uplift, but we're going to speak reality for what this football club is and where we should be, and are we seeing enough ambition and the movements of the club? Anthony said the two most devastating comments that made my people connected to Arsenal. One, I didn't buy Arsenal to win trophies, Stan Kroenke. Two, we won't sign a centre mid to go ahead of Xhaka or Partey. And I think that was the same as this year. I think that last summer, Edu said that. He then said that this year we were going to go for quality over quantity. But I think they made the same decision at the start of this transfer window. I believe the club sat down, they planned it, and they said, we don't need a midfielder. We're giving El Neni a new deal. Xhaka got a new deal last year. You've got Sambi, who we only bought last year. And you've got Thomas Partey. There's your 4 centre mids. And you've signed Fabio Vieira, who could maybe drop into the 8 role. Odegaard, Smith Rowe can play the 8 role. They had no plans of signing a midfielder. The only reason we tried to get a midfielder at the end was because Partey and El Neni got injured, and we tried to panic buy and we couldn't get one. And we got left with egg on our face, people. You know, we looked stupid in the end. And why? Why did Edu not want to buy a midfielder? Why do they not want to upgrade Granit Xhaka? What do they love so much about him? Granit Xhaka, this season, apart from the Man United game, playing well. Last season, probably his best season. Still, in my opinion, not good enough for Arsenal Football Club as a starting midfielder every week. When you look at what we're competing against. City, Rodri, Bernardo, Kevin De Bruyne. Liverpool, Fabinho, Thiago, Henderson. Chelsea, Jorginho, Kovacic, Kante, you know. Tottenham, Bentancur, Højbjerg, Basuma. I still don't think Granit Xhaka gets in any of those other midfields. If we're trying to go above a lot of these teams, he shouldn't be starting in our midfield, in my opinion. But anyway, we've gone way off topic. Let's just quickly look ahead for the game tomorrow. The mighty FC Zurich of Switzerland, people, who I believe were champions of Switzerland last year. And they're having an absolute nightmare of a season in the Swiss Super League. I mean, as you can see, there's only 10 teams in the Swiss League. And they're second from bottom, by the way. 7 games, 2 draws, and 5 defeats. I mean, as I said yesterday, people, this game has got Eddie Nketiah hat-trick written all over it. He'll be calling everyone by the end of this game. But they'll be up for it. You know, I'm sure Zurich, capital of Switzerland, and their fans will be out in their droves for that one. I know Arsenal have sold out. Jake said Zurich have sold out as well. But they're having a nightmare. I believe they won the league last year. St. Gallen are top, Young Boys second, Servette are third. Servette are actually ran by former Arsenal player Philip Senderos, who's been on this channel before. We should win this game, but you just never know with Arsenal, do you, in Europe? But listen, it will be a fringe side. Interesting today, people, that Cedric didn't train this morning and apparently is injured for the game. He's one of the players that probably would have been brought in to rotate. So I would imagine, who will they play at left back will be interesting, whether they play Tierney or they play Zinchenko. I'm sure Tomiyasu will come back in. Matt Turner will come in. Rob Holding. Midfield, we can't really rotate because we don't have any other options. I think Fabio Vieira will start. Marquinhos. Smith Rowe came away injured from the cool down. And who else? And they'll play Eddie up front. So yeah, I don't expect to see Gabriel Jesus and those guys playing, although they may be on the bench. Apologies, Zurich isn't the capital of Switzerland. I've been told it's Bern. I always thought it was Zurich. Zurich is the largest city, but it's not the capital. There you go. We learn something every day, people. Sounds like sabotage. Do they do this on purpose? I think they lure us in, don't they? Oh, we're only second bottom. You'll batter us. They'll probably turn up and look superb against us tomorrow. We are the early kickoff, of course, 5:45 UK time. I'll be live from 5 p.m. for the watch-along. That's a good point. We could put Zinchenko in midfield. I think that would be a great opportunity to put him in there, and maybe you give, Granit Xhaka a rest, because I can't believe these words are coming out of my mouth, people. But at the moment, with the situation that we're in the midfielders we've got out, Granit Xhaka would be classed as an important part of our squad due to the fact we just don't have better options. So it's they're words that no Arsenal fan should ever have to say. But unfortunately, you know, that's the situation we're in right now. So, yeah, not great, unfortunately, but it is what it is. And, yeah, I would love to see Zinchenko play in midfield. And let's see how he looks. It's a good chance for him to show what he can do in it. Big up Martin. Man said a rest to do what? I don't know. Maybe consider how not to trip himself over, you know, like he did the other day. Marseille play against Tottenham tonight as well. That will be an interesting one. Nuno Tavares playing left wing back. Said Kolasinac playing left centre back. And former favourite before he snaked us, Alexis Sanchez, who's been playing up front for Marseille. They play against Tottenham tonight. That should be an interesting one. I might even do a watch-along tonight, you know. We've obviously got a few Champions League games. Liverpool play Napoli as well. So look out for that. I might do a stream for that later on. But going to be interesting tomorrow night. Europa League is back. Arsenal need to perform. Inter versus Bayern. Yeah, I think Barca have got, Pleznan or whatever they're called. Sanchez is suspended. Oh, there you go then. That's a shame. But listen, big up to everyone for tuning in. 1,900 of you in the chat. Unbelievable numbers considering, you know, not the biggest of days, but obviously we spoke about tapping Thomas the Tank Engine, Tuchel being sacked, Graham Potter on his way to Chelsea, and we spoke about Arsenal. We went off topic a little bit, but really good stream. Really appreciate you tuning in. We may do a watch along tonight. Keep your eyes peeled for that one. And if not, we'll be back tomorrow, 5 o'clock, watch along business. Make sure you tune in and enjoy the rest of your day, people. Take care, and I will see you all soon. Bless.